It's football and other F words. I'm Zach Lyons. You can follow me on Twitter at the Zach Lyons, and that's Stoney Keeley. You can follow him on Twitter at Stoney Keeley. We have producer Jackson behind the glass. Jackson, do you want us to tell people where they can follow you so they can complain?
JWilly_61 on Twitter.
JWilly_61 because he was born in 1961.
Fantastic handle.
Why 61? Was that your football number?
It was when I created this Twitter back in 2015.
There you go.
Should we be calling you Jay Willie?
I think so.
It was a common nickname for me in high school, and I still have friends who call it for me this day, so go for it.
Let's go for it. Jay Willie.
Well, I don't know. It sounds like we might have to earn the right to call him Jay Willie.
You guys have earned it.
We have?
Yeah,
oh my
I think
God,
so.
That just made my day. That just made my day.
Made his heart a flutter.
Yeah.
Jay Willie. I was going to say something. What was I going to say? We were talking about. So make sure JWilly_61 on Twitter. Make sure that you, anytime that the episode of Football and Other F Words is not uploaded to your satisfactory timeline, you tag and tweet him.
So that's what this was all about.
I'm tired of it.
That's what you're not.
No
trying
offense to the No, the last guy who did it is avid listener, and I don't mind. But it's like, we got a producer now. We're big time. It's time to start big timing some people, and I'm big timing Jay Willie over here and telling him it's his. He's gonna have to be tagged.
What a trap! He bit the cheese.
He bit the cheese,
and the trap snapped him up.
I play chess, man. Like the stuff that I do is on another level.
You were trying. I thought you were trying to raise Jay Willie's profile.
Well, we will. I mean, he's on our show. I mean, what better way to get nationally recognized
Fair enough. Yeah.
than football and other F words?
I'm just surprised it didn't become a rudimentary dick joke.
Yeah, that is true. We still got time.
I like the camera cut tonight. I mean, I'm still like just a fat amorphous blob in this couch, but you can't see me from the waist down. I was going to tell y'all I had to wear gym shorts today. I was out doing some work. So if y'all see my balls, just like chime in the chat and be like, hey, tuck those things away, Stoney.
I would like to see if we can get a camera angle that the fact that he's wearing color-coordinated socks with his shorts, wool socks, by the way. And
I don't know if you can see it.
Yeah, watch out. That's your bad knee that just gave out on you.
I almost fell.
Yeah.
Fell to the ground in the studio here.
Yeah. Yes. Tyler Kitts says, and this is the whole point of the show pretty much, is it safe to go ahead and start workshopping Cam Ward nicknames? Yeah. Yes, and you should tag every old head media member when you do it because they love it when fans immediately give players and stuff nicknames.
Yeah. I mean, we're already comparing Cam Ward to Steve McNair.
Yeah. Blaine fucking hates that.
I bet he does. I fucking hate that.
Blaine hates it.
Yeah.
And I get it, but he actually kind of hates it a little bit more because they play nothing alike.
Yeah.
Yes, he hates that someone is getting compared to, Steve McNair, who a brother in arms, but he fucking hates it because it doesn't even make sense.
Yeah.
You just see a couple of plays where he scrambles and he makes a throw. That's not enough for Cam Ward.
I think people were just like, Cam Ward's going to be a Titan. Oh, we should compare him to Steve McNair because they haven't had a quarterback like that since Steve McNair. So he's the next incarnation of Steve McNair. And I'm like, no, I mean, I don't have the foggiest memory. It's not like I was breaking down tape at 14 years old watching Steve McNair. But I don't remember him doing some of the dumb shit that Cam Ward did. So I don't know.
Well, he also played at Alcorn State, so we probably don't remember a lot of the Alcorn State all 22.
Yeah.
Eddie says the trade back dream is not dead, according to our good friends Braden and PK, who apparently have put their head in the sands, and have ostriched themselves to make sure that they have ignored every big fucking flashing neon sign that says the Titans are drafting Cam Ward. It's like 99.9% at this point.
I mean, it would take you got to offer me a kidney at this point to get out. I need some body parts. Like if I have a list of my enemies, I'm going to need you to hire a hitman to go kill them. Like you're going to have to do some borderline weird, we might not see heaven kind of stuff to get me out of that top pick. That's what it seems like now anyways.
Well, I mean, you look at if I agree with their premise is that but only in the instance that if you ignore everything that has happened since the combine, then yes, there is maybe a really big chance that the Titans do not draft Cam Ward. Yeah. But if you got your head out your ass and quit fence sitting, you would realize that, hey, it's Cam Ward, baby. Well, and get all aboard, all award the Cam Tram.
I like that, all award the Cam Tram.
There you go.
Get the T-shirts printed. I don't think it's just that all signs are pointing towards Cam Ward being the pick. Like, the Titans organization has fallen in love with this guy as they've gotten to know him. They've learned more about the mental makeup, which is something I was texting you about earlier. I was like, were we like the first show to be like, you know what, Cam Ward is better in structure than people think? And like,
yes, absolutely.
Like, I go back to that Cam Ward episode and how you told me I made a good case for drafting Cam Ward.
What I say, you left me like wanting to, and wasn't your intention.
Yeah.
But your result, despite intention, had me running through a wall for Cam Ward.
But I said all of that and then ultimately left it with, but they've got to get in the meeting room with him and iron out some stuff to learn about the person. Well, they had the opportunity to do that, and now all of a sudden all these trade talks are suddenly cooling off. So I don't think it's just that they've gotten to know him, though.
Yeah.
I think there's also the quarterback dominoes that have fallen over the course of this offseason so far. We're at a point where Cam Ward or Shedeur Sanders probably the best option at quarterback for this team.
Yeah.
So they like him. He looks like the best option. Makes sense. Like, it just makes the writing's on the wall for me.
So to clarify what I'm talking about with the combine change, Joe Blacko says, so the combine changed everything. I still think Hunter is the best prospect. That hasn't changed.
Yes, I agree.
What I'm saying is that if you ignore everything that's happened since the combine, national media, local media scuttlebutt, what you've heard from the team, the lack of certain actions, lack of action at the quarterback, all signal Cam Ward.
Cam Ward. It's like the bat signal.
That's what I'm saying is that everything, there's so much evidence that's piled up.
Yeah.
And I said it on the cover too. It's the Las Vegas strip of neon signs.
It is.
It's not just one neon sign. It is 13 neon signs all pointing to the Cam Ward Hotel.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's where everybody's staying and sleeping at for this entire draft duration.
Yeah. And I mean, but to Joe Blacko's point, like, I do still have Travis Hunter ranked number one as the overall player. Like, I've got Shedeur at 14 and Cam at 15 on my big board right now.
Yeah.
But with the desperate need at quarterback, those are the two guys. Like, those are your options. And if you're
not believing the Tyler Shuck Jackson Dart hype train,
I am not, brother. I'm sorry. Those agents deserve raises. Send them down to Cabo for a week when this is all said and done. But I don't see anything that backs up those guys being first-round picks. Who was it that mocked Jackson Dart at 9 overall recently?
Well, that was Mel Kiper, and then Charles Davis had him at 5 overall.
Yeah, so like that, I don't get that. I mean, somebody might take him at the end of the first round because you like the traits. I get it.
It's Cam Ward or death at this point.
Yeah, that's
what Coach Will says.
That's what the dialogue, the discourse feels like right now. It's like we can't. I was talking to our buddy B Will about this earlier this week, and like, you can't say anything negative about Cam Ward anymore.
Oh yeah,
like you can't acknowledge that, hey, he still has some deficiencies and it might take him a while to get to his potential without people coming at you telling you you're stupid.
Right.
And it's frustrating because I still like Shedeur Sanders myself.
And I'm with you. I mean, I'm going to try this tomorrow to get, because we're off the next 2 days. So I'm going to try and go back through and watch every red zone play of Cam Ward.
Yeah, that you text me about that. And
that stat I texted you ended up not being as bad. I don't know if you heard that on yesterday's show or maybe 2 days' show.
Got to tune in this week.
He ended up getting 21 touchdowns, 2 interceptions, and like 2 sacks, 1 interception and 2 sacks maybe in the red zone, and is like a 50-something%. Mm-hmm. So like 21 of his 39 touchdowns came in the red zone. So that PFF stat either was wrong or the Sports Info Solutions is wrong. So that's why I got to go through the tape.
But that's a good example of what we always talk about on this show. The stats, the metrics are good breadcrumbs. I don't know why I'm looking into the cameras. I'm preaching.
You should look at the cameras.
The stats and the metrics are good breadcrumbs, but they ultimately lead you to the tape to figure out the context behind them. And that's important.
I do like JD3's conspiracy theory here. Let me scroll up. They signed Allen to think Cam Ward, released Landry to make you think Carter, released Awuzie, and didn't re-sign NWI to make you think Hunter. Still playing games.
About that.
I like it. I like a good little conspiracy theory
That's a
type
fun
thing.
one. That's a fun one. So they're like positioned to go wherever.
Yeah. Z Dean says Cam Ward is the second coming of Christ. Slander will not be tolerated.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. Like, I just, I like Cam Ward, and I think you and I have been pretty steadfast in that opinion about both of these quarterbacks for quite some time, is that they were, at the beginning of this process, I felt like both guys were underrated. And we've talked about that on this podcast before. But now we're at a point where it's like we've gone full tilt the other way.
Right.
People are buying their Cam Ward Oilers jerseys. They're calling him Steve McNair. They're calling him Patrick Mahomes.
Let's pause on this jersey thing, because I want to spend a little bit on this jersey, because you're not the first person I've seen say this, and I've seen other people say it's time to get a custom Cam Ward jersey.
Mm-hmm.
Guys, if you just wait, you can get an official Cam Ward jersey that's cheaper than a custom one.
Yeah, and
custom ones are more expensive, you idiots. Please do not get one. But right now, that is a custom one. What is wrong with you people?
But then, what happens if this all just has been a massive smokescreen to drive up the price of the number one overall pick, and they end up with Shedeur Sanders?
Titans jersey sales before it even happens.
Yeah, let's just pump the brakes. That's all I'm saying. And I've come around on Ward in a few key aspects. I was kind of hard on the mental makeup. I'm like, what makes this guy tick? I didn't think he was ready to start week one, and the mental makeup was the big reason why, because I'm like, rookie in this situation. I don't love the prospects of him starting week one, but from what we've learned about him throughout this process, what we've read, what we've heard, I do think he has the mental makeup that you could put him out there week one and he's not going to just shit his pants.
Well, and I think it helps that the offensive line is
that's
theoretically better. I mean, how many times have we said, this offensive line on paper is better than last year's offensive line, and then they all shit the bed.
Well, I mean, at this point, what happens if Kevin Zeitler gets hurt?
Yeah.
I mean,
because you don't have Dylan Radins now on the roster. You got Blake Hance.
Yeah, at least if J.C. Latham gets hurt, you've got John Njoku's not a right tackle.
Blake Hance.
You've got Jalen Duncan.
Blake Hance sounds like a fake movie reporter. They'll throw some crisis on TV, and they're like, then we'll toss it to Blake Hance, who's in the field watching the alien invasion.
Yeah.
Like Perd Hapley.
I like
Blake
that.
Hance is Perd Hapley.
Yeah. Yeah, so I've come around on that. I think Ward is tough. I think he's got the mental toughness to be successful in the NFL. And you said something that I was going to say next is I thought, don't throw a rookie quarterback into this situation. But, man, I don't know. A week after all the free agency stuff, I'm kind of I feel like, I don't want to curse us, but I think this offensive line is going to be better.
You just fucking cursed us.
Yeah. So I don't know if the situation, they're probably going to have a good run game with Tony Pollard back and Tyjae Spears, and, they're going to pick up Jarquez Hunter in the draft or something and have a complete backfield. Oh, excuse me. They re-signed Julius Chestnut. So, yeah. I think they're going to have a good run game. I think the offensive line is going to be better.
If you're going to look off to the distance, look off into the camera.
Well, I don't want to do that because then I'm looking at people.
Yeah, they want to be connected to you.
Okay. Well, I see. I'm just thinking. This is what I do when
just look at Jackson.
Jay Willie in the window. Willie in the window.
Willie in the window.
Yeah.
So I think it was Ed Henry that asked. So
shout out Ed Henry.
Bill Parcells, came up with his qualifications that you must have to draft a quarterback. It doesn't matter if you're drafted in the first round, drafted in the seventh round. These were his qualifications. 3-year starter, senior quarterback, graduated, start 30 games, win 23 games, post 2-to-1 touchdown interception ratio, and have at least 60% career completion percentage.
Mm-hmm.
Check across the board. This draft class actually has a lot of people that checked a lot of these boxes.
Doesn't Seth Hennigan check the boxes too?
Well, yeah. I mean, because Seth Hennigan is awesome.
Yeah, well, that's true.
Yeah.
This year's Brock
but
Purdy.
like Curtis Rourke, technically, counts all these things, and Jackson Dart does, Dylan Gabriel does. But when you're talking about, and of course, Shedeur Sanders does too.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But so I kind of want to go down a couple of roads with Cam Ward.
Okay.
Because I know that I know that you like Shedeur Sanders. I don't know for you, how far apart is Shedeur Sanders and Cam Ward to you?
They're not far at all. I mean, I don't even know that I would split them up 1A, 1B. Like, I don't want to split them up at all. I think it's just a matter of preference.
Okay.
Choose your flavor type of quarterback.
Okay, well, that's a good sign for your Cam Ward, I guess, progress for Cam Ward in your rankings, right? Because I think at one point, I think we both were like that, where Shedeur Sanders was clearly above Cam Ward.
Mm-hmm.
And the more that you watch, the more that you hear, the more that you see, you're kind of like, okay, there pretty much is a deadlock, and they pretty much is. You probably can't really go wrong because of their mental makeup. Like, that's kind of where I'm at.
Yeah.
Is that I understand that there are people that are Shedeur Sanders haters, and they hate all of his traits and everything, or he doesn't have any elite traits, even though I say his accuracy is phenomenal.
I love watching him throw the ball, plain and simple.
But when you look at it and you're like, okay, in today's NFL, you almost have to have an ability to operate outside of the offense successfully.
Yeah, sure.
Cam Ward has that because we've seen that.
Mm-hmm.
Shedeur Sanders has not been as consistent. Is that fair to say?
Yeah, I think so. I think he does have some troubling tendencies when the play breaks down. Again, it's an interview thing. Like, he's admitted to playing hero ball, which to me, I watch the tape and I think that is kind of the source of a lot of his problems. Is that he's thinking like, oh, great, there's an edge rusher in my face barreling down on me once again. I've got to try and make something happen. He does have plays on tape where he gets out of the pocket, extends the play, shakes a rusher, shakes another rusher, shakes a third guy, throws it down the field, makes a big play. Like, he does have some of that on his tape, but it's just that he was under such a constant barrage of pressure that it led to more opportunities for him to make mistakes too.
Yeah.
And I think that's what it ultimately adds up to for him.
I look at both these guys' flaws.
Yeah.
And I'm not, I don't want to be Justin Graver in Titans film room and be like, all Cam Ward's flaws are bullshit.
Yeah.
So don't get me wrong.
It's all bad. It's all just totally
Well, he says it's
made up.
Yeah, it's all made up.
Yeah.
He's got the I guess playmaking ability of Patrick Mahomes, the arm of Jordan Love, and the brain of Joe Burrow, and the beauty of a unicorn.
He's the perfect quarterback.
Yeah.
The Titans have hit the lottery.
Yeah, he's the perfect quarterback. So I'm not going to go that far, but I do think when we talk about these flaws of these quarterbacks, which they both obviously have them in different ways, I look at it and go, because I trust the mental makeup of the player and their background, the way that they have progressed through their college years and handled certain things, I'm like, I'm not as scared about the mental. I'm not scared about the flaws. Listen, Shedeur Sanders will always take sacks he probably shouldn't have throughout his entire career.
Yeah.
Cam Ward will probably make some head-scratching, weird-ass
throws into coverage
that you're like, man, I wish I had those back.
Yeah.
But the point of a coach is not to erase them.
Yes.
Because when you start trying to erase flaws, you get in their head.
Yeah.
You're trying to put them and take advantage of the pros and then hope to mitigate the cons through that process.
Yeah, sure.
So that's why I've seen a lot of people. Someone said, Jordan Pace in the chat says, Gravedigger said, Cam Ward is a mixture of Fergie and Jesus.
I like that.
I love that they threw in Fergie.
Yeah.
Like, you throw in a random celebrity with Jesus, I'm all in on the comment.
There we go.
Wait, do you guys not know the reference?
No.
It's Step Brothers.
Oh man, I haven't watched Step Brothers in forever.
I'm the songbird of my generation.
Yeah,
it's Mount Rushmore of comedies for me.
yeah. Anchorman did not age well for me.
Really?
Oh, I watched that movie like 2 months ago, and it was incredible.
I don't know. I don't know what happened. Wedding Crashers aged even better, I thought.
I go Anchorman, Dumb and Dumber, Old School. Oh, I do have Step Brothers, but if I could switch it out, I might put Pineapple Express on there.
Oh yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah.
But okay, so back to the flaws.
Yeah.
No, that's good.
Cam Ward.
So that's why I'm not totally, I guess, I understand because we just got through watching Will Levis.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So I understand that it's an easy comparison to say that, well, there's a lot of Will Levis type mistakes on Cam Ward's tape.
Yeah.
And I do agree to a certain extent.
Yeah.
But what I think is always left out of the conversation is that Cam Ward was able to not let those bother him, the team, the success, or whatever. He'd always overcome them.
Yeah.
He wouldn't let him bother him.
Well,
and so just real quick. So for those that don't know, his turnover-worthy play percentage is about the same as Will Levis was coming out of college. Career.
It's not great.
It's not great. The difference is the big-time throw percentage. The difference is the touchdown. So when you look at this last season, he had 1.4 turnover-worthy plays per game.
Mm-hmm.
Does not mean that they all became turnovers, but 1.4.
Yeah.
He had 2.5 big-time throws per game. So he's already in the green or the black. Is it the green or the black?
I think it's the black.
The black. He's already in the black.
Yeah.
And then he averages 3 passing touchdowns per game.
Mm-hmm.
That, to me, is enough if I'm a team to say, okay, if I get him in the room, talk to him about these turnover-worthy plays, and let him, and this is something that we'll talk about here in just a few, and let him play loose.
Yeah.
I got a winner on my hands.
Yeah, it's like the production kind of outweighs the mistakes, so to speak. Like he's making
I'm
up
afraid
for
my
it.
balls are about to show.
Making up for it on the field. The thing I would add too that the tape shows is that I don't necessarily think it's a feel issue for Cam Ward. I think a lot of the mistakes that Will Levis has made is a feel issue.
A lot of people think, I've seen this lately, because I want you to expand on that.
Mm-hmm.
And I've seen this a lot lately, is that he has no feel for the blitz or pressure. None whatsoever. Cam Ward?
Huh. That is not the experience I got from watching his film. I got the impression that he actually did feel pretty okay against the pressure. I kind of felt like it was a strength of his. Specifically
that's
compared
what
to
I
Will
thought,
Levis.
but I was like, well, maybe I'm missing something because I've seen a couple of people say that he doesn't have good pocket presence.
I watched 6 of his games at this point.
I know, and we talked about this during our Cam Ward episode, and then I've heard people say he can't recognize blitzes or pressure or anything like that. I'm like, that's not.
Was it like a specific blitz?
No,
specific
I mean,
package?
like I doubt this person
it's like
even
you kick
knew what it
over a rock
was,
and you're like, oh well, he can't handle.
Maybe
the fire zone
he saw
blitz.
one play, you know.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. Like I felt like he was pretty comfortable in chaos, and I never really got that sense from Will Levis. Which to me, it's worse if you can't really tell something is happening and you make a mistake than if you can feel pressure coming and you still make the mistake, because I feel like you could coach that out of Cam Ward. Like, hey, be careful in these moments, but I don't know how you coach it out of a guy that can't even tell those moments are approaching. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah,
like that was my thing with Will Levis too. It was like, how do you coach him to speed up his process by like half a second? How do you teach him to feel better?
What?
Uh-oh, something's happening. He's on the phone.
This crazy breaking news. The Texans who signed Danielle Hunter to a crazy contract over 2 years. If you remember, I don't remember what the extent of that contract was, but it was something crazy. He has signed a 1-year extension for $35.6 million.
Danielle Hunter? Dang.
What are they doing at Houston? That's a whole nother episode, by the way.
Good for Danielle Hunter, man.
Yeah, Danielle Hunter is getting paid.
Get the bag.
But I understand what you're saying because and I think that kind of plays into my let him play loose.
Yeah.
Is Nate Tice was on the Buck Rising show earlier this week.
Yeah, it was a pretty good appearance.
Yeah, it was a very good appearance. And he said that he loves the stuff that other people hate, kind of like the out of structure stuff or his sidearm throw or his release. He loves because he plays with such looseness because he hasn't been raised to play quarterback since he was 9 years old.
Yeah.
So this is all kind of loose, fresh, and it's him. Like he's very comfortable in his own skin, whereas like Will Levis, I just coined that part though, the comfortable in his own skin. Like Will Levis was a linebacker being a robot playing quarterback.
I loved how he described Will Levis's process as being very robotic, and I love that he said he was overcoached.
Yeah.
Because to me, that was a light bulb.
And he said his whole life, not just by Brian Callahan.
It wasn't just Brian Callahan. And I think like what he meant by that was like, man, like if you struggle with all these things, like you kind of force your coaches to just kind of hammer this stuff into you because you don't have a natural feel for it. And that's a problem. And I don't know how you get better at that.
Well, see, it's something you can't teach, right?
Yeah,
There's certain things a quarterback has, right? Like, if you guys think that Andy Reid taught Patrick Mahomes all the crazy stuff that makes Patrick Mahomes good, no.
Yeah.
What he did was foster it.
Yeah.
And I think that's where I'm at is that Brian Callahan, what's next, right?
Mm-hmm.
We're talking about these turnover-worthy plays that I don't think are a big deal.
Mm-hmm.
I know we're talking about Cam Ward, but in my mind, you could replace Shadur Sanders with Cam Ward and replace the turnover-worthy plays with holding on to the ball too long.
Pressure to sack.
Yeah. So I look at it and I go, Brian Callahan's job is not to fix Cam Ward. His job is not to fix Shadur Sanders. His job is to foster what makes them great.
Yeah.
Now, you wouldn't have to do a lot in your current system for Shadur Sanders, like we've said.
I agree.
You really wouldn't have to do a lot, though, for Cam Ward, because what I've come over this process to figure out, we talked about this on our Cam Ward episode, is that he's not a bad fit.
No.
Just Shadur Sanders is a better fit.
Well, I would specify Shadur Sanders you could plug and play today and
not change anything.
Not change anything. Yeah.
You no tweaks have to be made.
Based off of the same offense they ran in 2024.
But I look at it and I go, oh, shit. I had it.
Fuck.
I had it.
I fucked you up.
And, fuck, I've lost it. What were we talking about?
You're talking about Shadur Sanders being a better
Cam Ward fit.
You'd have to tweak some things.
Oh, okay. Fuck, okay. I just lost it.
We were talking.
Shit.
We were talking about.
Oh, okay. Got it.
Okay. All right.
I think Cam Ward's floor is much higher than I gave it credit for. Because I had it lower than Shadur Sanders, and I don't think that's the case. After going through more film, watching a few more different games, and none of these games, by the way, include the Pop-Tart game. I'm not even watching a Pop-Tart Bowl game.
That's such good tape.
It's great tape. I watched it live. But I'm not going to watch all 22 and try to take away anything from it.
You got to, man.
No.
Just for enjoyment.
I'll do it for enjoyment, but I'm gonna let my analysis process play out first.
I mean, just chase it with like the Georgia Tech game.
Yeah. But I don't think his floor is as low as what I initially had in my head.
So let me ask you this then: if his floor is not initially or as low as you initially thought, and him and Sanders are on an even keel. But the fact that we said, whichever episode it was, that he had the higher ceiling than Sanders, my voice just cracked. I'm 12 years old, forgive me. Is that the factor that differentiates him from Sanders and makes him the number one overall pick.
I think so.
Yeah. That's where I'm at, too.
I really do. Yeah. And again, to me, I think it's all about preference, but I do think because if their floors are relatively close together and their ceilings are relatively far apart, you have to go with the higher ceiling at that point.
You know what else I've come around to during this discussion?
I said but
if you or our viewers at home haven't been picking up on what I've been putting down in recent episodes, I think there's a strong possibility that the Titans are ass again for a little bit. You would hope that they turn things around quickly, but if we take it to be true that this regime is in it for the long rebuild to get to a point where sustained success a la Green Bay, Pittsburgh, Baltimore, those teams that we've talked about before, if they're in for the long haul, wouldn't it make sense to get the guy that has the more upside in the long haul?
Yeah, I think so.
If Cam Ward's a guy that you say...
Because we're not talking Anthony Richardson.
Yes. But if you're saying, like, we can afford to take a guy that's probably going to play his best ball 2 or 3 years from now, we don't need a guy that's going to come in 2025, win 10 games, take us on a run to a conference championship. If you have that luxury, which again is qualified, the hypothetical that what they're saying about this being a longer rebuild is true, and they have that leash, I think it makes more sense to take the swing on the guy that has the higher upside because
that's the guy that can also maybe overcome your deficiencies.
Yes. So it comes back
is he going to be able to overcome Van Jefferson and Treylon Burks being, wide receivers? Probably not.
Well, but hey,
if you're going to be if you're looking for a true point guard kind of offense and a guy that can at least get the ball where he's supposed to go and then create some plays out of structure if something breaks down, Cam Ward's your guy.
And it's going to
the new knock on him is his lack of athleticism. Have you seen that?
Yeah, I have.
Because, at first it was like, well, Shedeur Sanders has no athleticism. Cam Ward's got this great athleticism and is way better than Shedeur Sanders. And now it's like, well, we've started watching the tape and now we can't find anything negative. Now we're going back and changing our mind about his athleticism.
And my position on that has always been he's the type of rusher that can really make you pay if you don't have somebody on him.
Right.
I don't think he's Lamar Jackson as a rusher. But I do think he can make you pay if there's wiggle room there.
Ed Henry asked this question.
Okay.
It's not really, it is a question. But this also goes into what I was going to read to you just real quick. Go Long TD is a Substack by Tyler Dune. Mm-hmm. Great Substack, by the way. I mean, especially during draft season, it's one of the best. It's one of the best. He has a guy that gets all the insight from the anonymous scouts and everything throughout the draft process and all that kind of stuff. But this plays into what Ed Henry's asking, but he has an article out, Anthony Richardson and the Danger of Quarterback Daydreaming. Because we've kind of called Chasing the Ghost.
Yeah.
And it's like quarterback daydreaming, love it. Anthony Richardson, I learned a lot after the Anthony Richardson draft class and how we should be viewing quarterbacks.
Yeah.
And because Ed Henry asked, where would Ward slot if he were in the Levis, Richardson, Stroud, Young draft? Mm-hmm. I think in hindsight, if what I'm being honest in how I had them ranked, I probably would have Ward right there with Stroud, which I had him as my quarterback 3, though.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I had Bryce Young, Anthony Richardson, then
Me too.
Stroud.
Mm-hmm.
And listen, the danger of quarterback daydreaming is a cautionary tale.
Yeah,
it is a true tale that ends in horror.
Yeah.
And but if you were to say, now, Zach, now that you've learned more about what to look for in a quarterback prospect and how maybe things have changed for you as a draft analysis guy, analyst. I don't know why I couldn't find the word analyst.
Analysis guy. I like that. Guy. Put that on your resume.
Analyst. Why did that leave my head? Draft analyst. I would say that I would have Cam Ward as number 1 quarterback in that draft class.
See,
but that's 2 different ways of looking at it, right? There's what you felt in the moment about those quarterbacks and what you know now after growing as an analyst is how I look at it. factoring in their performance. I'm factoring in, hey, I learned from the Bill Parcells system is that Cam Ward Anthony Richardson has the odds stacked against him, and he's not going to do it. So I'm going to push him down the list.
It is interesting how Anthony Richardson brought the Bill Parcells method
to the forefront,
back to the forefront
yeah.
of the draft community. Yeah. I can't say I was really high on Bryce Young, man.
But would you have him higher than C.J. Stroud?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean.
Well, I'm thinking
what I'm saying?
Well, I'm putting myself back into where I was in 2023. Right. And I'm trying to take what I think about Cam Ward and applying it to that draft class. And I think with the hindsight, learning now, if I had known then what I know now, I probably would have gone Bryce Young and then sorted it out between Stroud and Ward. I was actually thinking earlier today, my feelings about Ward are pretty similar to what I felt about C.J. Stroud.
Yeah.
Was kind of like, I feel like I'm a little bit lower on this guy than the consensus. Everybody seems to be really buying in on this guy right now throughout the process. I think he can be really good, but I don't know for sure. And that's kind of how I feel about Cam Ward. So the lesson there being I should probably just buy into Cam Ward because I should have bought in to C.J. Stroud a little harder.
And I think you are coming around to Cam Ward.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. I don't think in this particular quarterback draft class you can say 100% certainty. There isn't a Joe Burrow.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Like there isn't
a Bryce Young.
I don't know. There's not a Joe Burrow. Like, because a lot of people talk about Trevor Lawrence as a can't miss prospect or Caleb Williams as a can't miss, and I don't think they were ever as good as prospects as what Joe Burrow was.
Yeah, I will agree with that.
So, like, if we are going all the way back to, I guess, the 2019 draft, which is what now about to be 6 years ago.
Which is the Kyler Murray, Daniel Jones, Dwayne Haskins draft. Yeah.
Then Joe Burrow's the only can't miss prospect. That 2019 draft, Cam Ward, Shedeur Sanders easily, for me, been above Kyler Murray.
Yeah, I would agree wholeheartedly. Yeah, I was
They
not
would be
really
below Tua and Herbert.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Honestly, I was kind of a little low on Herbert. But I mean, they would be right there. They'd be higher than Jordan Love.
One of my greatest takes of all time, I tweeted on draft night in 2020, Justin Herbert, Rookie of the Year.
Yeah, there you go.
And then he won it.
And then so after that, 2020, right? No.
2020 was Burrow,
2020
Herbert,
draft,
and Love, and Jordan Love.
Yeah, in 2020, I would have had them above Jordan Love.
Yeah.
People who would have Jordan Love over them are crazy.
Yeah.
Do you guys not remember all the knocks on Jordan Love coming out?
Oh, man.
Yeah, way more knocks on Jordan Love than there have been on Cam Ward and Shedeur Sanders. Like real knocks that are concerning knocks.
Mm-hmm.
And so then that takes us to the Trevor Lawrence draft class. I personally I found Trevor Lawrence's last college season to be very pedestrian. So and I understand I'm in the distinct, even though I was vocal, because I did say this on a football show, and I said it on Football and Other Efforts a whole lot, not sold on Trevor Lawrence.
Yeah.
And he has turned into the quarterback I thought he showed on tape.
Yeah.
I personally would have Cam Ward and Shedeur Sanders over Trevor Lawrence. And I would have been looked at and laughed at like I'm a madman. And I would have worn that cross with pride throughout the entire draft cycle and not changed my mind. So personally, I think they both would have been above him. And I think they would have been my quarterback 1 and quarterback 2, quarterback 1A, quarterback 1B in that draft class.
I was high on Trevor Lawrence at the time, and the discourse about Trevor Lawrence was generational, can't miss. We haven't seen a guy like this since Andrew Luck, John Elway.
Jackson, can we get 2 more beers?
He's just one more. I'm good.
Of course.
Okay.
I'm sipping on mine.
You're sipping?
This is a damn good beer, by the way.
It's a good beer. But you can't tell. No free shout-outs.
Oh, yeah. My bad. I'll cover it up then so people can't see it.
I don't think they can read.
Okay.
In general.
I think the narrative about Trevor Lawrence, I thought he was a pretty clean prospect. And, I mean, hand up being truthful, I was high on Lawrence coming out of Clemson. I think if I could put myself back in that moment, based on the college tape, I think I would still definitely have Trevor Lawrence ranked above those guys. But if you want to frame the question like this.
Oh, you want – can we have some breaking news real quick?
Oh, yeah, let's do it.
Okay, just in, Stephon Diggs is in Foxborough to meet with the New England Patriots.
Oh, I love that so much. I love that. So I hope it happens.
A 31-year-old wide receiver, 5 months removed from an ACL tear, going to a rookie quarterback with Mike Vrabel as their head coach.
I love it so much.
Oh,
let's do it.
And Josh McDaniel being there too.
Yeah,
we are in for some high drama if that works out.
I don't even know. They don't even have a left tackle up there right now.
Oh,
they got Mac Hollins, though.
Yeah, they got Mac Hollins and maybe possibly Stephon Diggs. That'd be
how about
so
that?
great. Okay, go back to your point.
If you want to frame the question like this.
Get yourself a beer. You can get one if you want. Okay, thank you.
Come
thank
on,
you, Jay Wills.
Jay Willie, man, he's on it.
Should we
tonight.
go different than Jay Willie? I mean, like go Jay Wills because,
Jay Wills, yeah.
That then we can have our own nickname.
It does sound a
separate
little more
from his friends.
A little more professional.
Yeah, Jay Wills.
Yeah.
With a Z. We got to emphasize the Z on it.
Yeah. Jay Wills on the board.
Yeah.
I will say, I'll give you this. If you want to reframe the question like this, to put it in a modern context, who would you rather have as your quarterback today? Trevor Lawrence, Cam Ward, or Shedeur Sanders?
Easily Cam Ward or Shedeur Sanders.
I'm going Cam Ward or Shedeur Sanders.
And then that takes 2022, which I think we all know that, they're way better than anybody there. Really, if you start going down the list of the people in this draft class, I would put Jackson Dart over Kenny Pickett and all them. And I really liked Malik Willis and Sam Howell. Don't get me wrong. And you loved Matt Corral.
I had Kenny Pickett as QB4 in that draft.
Yeah, I did too. I had him way low.
But I was going to ask you, because I don't mind reliving my mistakes. I don't mind putting my hand up and saying I was wrong.
Yeah.
I fucked this up. But I know it's not technically good, like podcasting or radio, to be like, oh, I'm wrong all the time. But I was drinking the Kool-Aid on Matt Corral. I was like, this dude. And to be fair,
I was a Malik Willis guy.
Yeah, I didn't really like Malik much.
And I didn't want him here.
Yeah.
I just want everybody to know when I wrote an article for Broadway Sports Media ranking, basically I wasn't ranking the quarterbacks, I was saying what they were.
Yeah.
And I called Malik Willis the philosophy changer.
Yeah.
And they had to change his philosophy to make their offensive philosophy to make Malik Willis work.
And they didn't.
And they didn't. And we saw what that meant.
Yeah. I had that Corral, Howell, Willis, Pickett, Ritter, and I would have Cam Ward and Shedeur Sanders.
See, I had Ritter,
light years
Willis
above them.
Yeah, I did call this though. I said that Kenny Pickett was the Mitch Trubisky of that draft class.
That's a good call,
and it was an excellent call. I won't tell you what I said about Malik Willis and Desmond Ritter.
I've got a Kenny Pickett story for you that I can't share in public. But
well, then why'd you even bring it up?
Because I don't want to forget later. So just remind me to tell you later. I can't share it on the air, though.
Okay, so, and then that takes us to last year's draft class, right? No, we already talked about the Bryce Young draft class, so then that takes us into last year. That one's tough to slot for me a little bit because I was kind of all over the map with that quarterback class. I just thought it was a really good quarterback class. I think they're both clearly better than Michael Penix Jr., but I kind of had like them all. Like, it just felt like they were all clearly – I felt like Caleb Williams was the most overrated of the bunch.
Yeah. I felt like Drake May was the most overrated.
But, I really do feel that they could go toe-to-toe with most of these quarterbacks.
So I was lower than the consensus on all of the quarterbacks. I kind of felt like, oh, man, all these guys are good, but y'all are acting like they're going to turn a franchise around, and I don't know that I'm there just yet. I was wrong in that, but I was higher on the group in the sense that I had 5 of them in my top 15 or 16, and then Penix was just outside the first round for me. I've thought about this quite a bit, and I loved Michael Penix. But when I go back and look at my ranking of him, I did a good job of being objective because I just liked watching his tape. He was just kind of an assassin. He was a pretty cold-blooded quarterback. And I tried my best to remove my feelings of enjoyment just from a sheer entertainment standpoint, watching some of the lasers that he threw. And I reread my actual analysis of him, and I've changed on that. I think I would have Cam and Shedeur both above him, but I don't know that I would put him above the other 5.
You're being called bosexual.
I am bosexual. Dude, I was a huge I was like, y'all are sleeping on Bo. Y'all are gonna be eating your words on him.
And I think people are. We'll see how it
We'll see.
continues
I
to
mean,
go.
You know,
1 year, people are eating their words.
Yeah, people forget, like, he had a really good freshman year at Auburn, and what did he follow that up with?
So we kind of got a little bit off track.
We did.
That's never like us. That never happens on this show.
I can't imagine what would cause that.
So let me ask you this. With Cam Ward playing loose, allowing him to play loose, what does that look like for this offensive scheme? Like, do you think, I mean, let's say this. I would venture to make a bet that it is about a 98% guarantee that everybody in the building loves Cam Ward.
Yeah.
Okay, so you could like yesterday, I was looking for some maybe good odds to bet the Cam Ward to the Titans, and they're all gone, and rightfully so.
Yeah.
Because I was looking to make some money. Because I think it's pretty much a lock that it's Cam Ward. I think that everybody pretty much loves Cam Ward, including staff, front office, ownership, janitors. Everybody loves him. So does that level of love, sometimes with love, means compromise, Stoney?
Yeah.
And a good, successful marriage is built around compromise. So where do you stand on Brian Callahan after seeing him kind of struggle to compromise with Will Levis, even though I don't think there is a compromise that would have made that marriage work, but kind of struggle to adapt quickly? How quick do you see and how willing do you think that Brian Callahan and this staff is willing to just kind of pull an Andy Reid and say, we're going to let you be you. We're not going to fix all your footwork issues, and we're not going to get inside your head. We just want you to go out there and ball. And we can, because he said we can live with interceptions.
Yeah.
How willing and do you think this marriage could last?
I want to get Brian Callahan on that couch, and I want to hook him up to a lie detector test. Oh, no. No. That's a different show. I want to hook him up to a polygraph test. I want to put him in a lie detector, and I want to say, did you really try to really make it work with Will Levis, or did you just know this guy's not going to cut it no matter what I do, so I just want to run my offense to get a better look at everybody else? And I want to know the truth to that.
Yeah.
Because I do think that he changed some things throughout the season that I think minorly changed Will Levis's play. I think there were a couple of games like the middle of the season where we started to say, all right, hey, you know what? Will Levis, maybe some things are clicking. But I don't know for sure. So I say that to say I don't know how much of the offense and how it adjusted for Will Levis was like a resistance from Brian Callahan to be flexible and do that, and how much of it was just the realization that, like, nothing I can do is going to work. I also think you could factor in that he was a rookie head coach and maybe thinking, you know, the optimistic take is, man, we're just a week away. And then the next thing you know, it's week 15 and you're still
are who you are.
Yeah, you are who you are. So I think that could have been a part of it too. I mean, the guy, sometimes people talk about him so hatefully, like he's just dumb and over his head, doesn't know what he's
Will
doing.
Levis or Brian Callahan? You have to be specific in this instance.
Both.
But which one's correct?
I meant Brian Callahan, that they talk about him like that. And this guy's a lifer, man. Like, he's a football coach. Like, I don't see a world where they draft Cam Ward and he doesn't do some things that tailor to his strengths. I'm kind of concerned about, like, the quick game stuff, the timing-based stuff, where, like, you got to get the ball snapped. It's got to come out quickly. It's a very quick process oriented play. But Cam Ward has talked about it, and I said it on the one of our episodes. It might have been on the hot read. I wish I had had the courage to say it with my full chest, but I kind of cowered because nobody else was saying it, and I didn't want to step out on that island on my own. But Cam Ward admitted to
cat.
it. I am. I'm a big old bitch. Cam Ward even said at the Combine that a lot of the route concepts they ran at Miami were similar to what the Titans ran under Brian Callahan. And I saw that on tape. And I sat on this couch and I said, like, I feel like the Miami offense is more pro-oriented from a passing standpoint than it's being given credit for. So I don't know how much you would actually have to change as far as like the route concepts go. I think he's pretty well versed in the style of offense that Brian Callahan wants to run. I think the biggest issue would be the quick game underneath, quick processing stuff that Ward might just have to really – it might be more about adjusting to the speed of the NFL than anything else. So I have the utmost confidence. There's no reason for me to think that Brian Callahan would not sprinkle in some stuff, and Nick Holtz too, sprinkle in some stuff that Cam Ward does well to kind of ease him into the game.
We should get Nick Holtz and Brian Callahan on the couch.
I would love that.
Maybe we can make that happen or something.
Yeah,
but this is a good time to let the people know. This is a special announcement. Is to let the people know that that Buck Rising does a show with Greg Cosell live called The Install.
Yeah, I do. It's a great show.
We are going to open up for them an hour before they go live. We are going to be live.
How about that?
There at the Hutton. Is that right?
It's the Analog, I think.
The Analog at the Hutton.
Oh, yeah, I don't know.
And then
Jay Wills, where you at?
Yeah, Jay Wills.
Oh, he's talking.
What's up?
Is it the Analog at the Hutton?
Yes, the Analog at the Hutton Hotel.
Okay, so there we go. We were both right.
Yeah.
And then we're gonna fight them.
We're gonna fight them. Okay.
Yeah,
y'all are gonna fight.
Me and you versus Cosell and Buck.
Okay, you take Cosell because he's actually a really nice guy, and I think you'll just end up chatting.
There you go.
Yeah. So it's just gonna be us, like me and you both beating the shit out of Buck, and Cosell's just gonna.
It's just life and how it goes. He's going to analyze it. He's going to do the X's and O's. He'll do a tape study after the fact.
I love Cosell. I have been banging the drum for the Install for a long time. I do like the Nashville Sports Creator of the Year thing for Sobros Network, and every year I put in the Install with Greg Cosell because I love that. I love hearing Greg talk about football. And nobody votes for it. So I'm like, you guys are stupid.
So we're going to be doing the cocktail hour. So we're going to be live during the cocktail hour.
I thought you were saying. Oh,
so while everybody is, getting their hors d'oeuvres and their beer and talking, they're going to be hearing us just yapping.
We're going to be breaking down the Isaac Tesla tape after they
draft him. Yeah. We're not supposed to talk about that.
Oh, right. Yeah.
Yeah, we're supposed to keep that in the DL.
Yeah, my bad.
Yeah.
They hate him, actually, is what I've heard.
Yeah, they hate Isaac Tesla. So
I think Tony.
If you're an NFL team for whatever reasoning, listening to this, do not draft Isaac Tesla. Nobody here in Nashville likes Isaac Tesla.
I think it was Tony Pauline that reported that I can't remember if it was Brian Callahan or Nick Holtz actually took a swing at Isaac Tesla.
Yeah, probably Nick Holtz.
Yeah,
to be honest with you,
he's
got wild eyes. Do you remember after his first press conference, everybody was like, man, this guy's a dud. And then first off, his like promo pictures for the press conference were him in the bleachers with his sunglasses on, looking all cool like he's on the 90s CD. Yeah. And then like every press conference after that was fucking awesome. I think whenever he had to drop all those F-bombs at practice, and when all the quarterbacks were throwing interceptions, which should have been a big signal that we were in for a long season, and he was dropping – that's when it just came up. He's like, well, I just yelled a bunch of F-bombs at grown men in front of other grown men and women out in the stands who just tweeted out. He's like, fuck it. Let's just ride.
Let's go.
Let's let the real Holtz out of the hole.
Yeah, it's big Holtz energy.
Yeah, big Holtz energy. Big Nick energy was right there, but I like that we went big Holtz energy.
I like Holtz better.
Yeah.
Big Nick energy. It could be any Nick. It could be Nick Suss.
Yeah.
Nick Suss has big Nick energy.
He does. Well, he's very tall. No ups.
Yeah.
No ups. There's a video. Did it make it on the internet of him trying to jump and touch?
I think that was just in the DMs, but
no ups by Suss. That's for sure.
Yeah.
Where were we? Oh, well, we were talking about the install.
Yeah.
But why did we start talking about the install?
I don't know, but I'm going to get my tuxedo ready for that.
There you go. Black tie affair.
Yeah.
I think Jackson's going to wear his tuxedo shirt.
Okay, I like that.
Yeah. Okay, so
might even manscape for that.
There you go.
Just in case.
I guess, are we done with our Cam Ward talk? I kind of feel like we wrapped it up pretty well.
Yeah, I don't remember anything.
What? Tesla ran a 4.3940 at his pro day?
Awful time.
Awful. Nobody likes Tesla.
I don't know if he's going to even get drafted.
Probably not. Undrafted free agent Isaac Tesla. I never have talked about Isaac Tesla on any of our Senior Bowl coverage or anything.
I will flip a table over if they draft Isaac Tesla.
Yeah.
I will flip a table over. Jay Wills, what a lovely smile.
He is. He does.
Can we just say that?
Yeah.
Love that.
He washed his hair today. So it's been real nice.
I wash it every day. I just don't brush it every day.
Yeah.
I wear a lot of hats.
You do wear a lot of hats. Okay.
There was something I wanted to talk to you about today.
Okay. Well,
I don't remember it.
Is it about Rondell Moore and how he's basically more injured Poo-Poo Atwell?
Listen, you got to stop Poo-Poo Atwell. I gave you that nickname. Don't even use it on me. Okay,
Yeah.
Just at least have that.
Well, I'm just
modicum of
I'm
respect.
trying to give you the chance to say I came up with that nickname.
Well, I
know you don't like Poo-Poo Atwell.
I do like Poo-Poo Atwell.
No, you don't.
I like Tutu Atwell.
He stinks. Can we just start calling players that like he's an underperformer, underachiever?
You need a guy like that as your wide receiver.
You need a 150-pound loser that can go out there and run routes and get exercise.
I tell you this, you don't need him for $10 million.
Yeah, I know Rondell signed with the Vikings. Thank the Lord that he signed with a different team.
I would have been on board with Rondell Moore.
But why?
Because, dude, Colton Dow, Jaquan Jackson, Traylon Burks.
I don't know Rondell Moore is actually better than any of them, to be honest with you.
I think if he got 2 new knees this offseason, he's going to be better than those guys.
I would say give him one of your knees, but I saw one of them go out. Then you'd probably be wheelchair bound.
That was bad. I was actually staring at the floor thinking, I don't know if I can stand back up right now.
My philosophy for every Titans – you are the Rondell Moore podcast. My philosophy is aim higher. And look, they already got Van
Amari
Jefferson.
Cooper?
Well, I mean, it's
Elijah
better than
Moore?
Rondell Moore. Elijah Moore is 1,000 times better than Rondell Moore.
I don't think Elijah Moore is the type of dude they're looking for, though.
And
got
maybe
some
he's
knee
not.
Problems, right?
I mean, supposedly. I mean, doesn't every wide receiver have knee problems? All the good ones do.
That's true. But Elijah Moore is not one of the good ones.
I mean, phrasing. But, like, he's definitely not
That's my
bad.
bad.
He's definitely not bad.
Yeah.
He's definitely not Rondell Moore.
Yeah.
So that's where I look at it. Like, can we aim higher than Rondell Moore? A guy whose game is quote unquote explosiveness, who has a lower yards per reception than a lot of people.
What's he played, like 4 games in the last 3 years?
Pretty much. I mean, like, he didn't even play all of 2024.
Yeah. No, I'm just saying, like, cycle some warm bodies in here.
Yeah, and I'm with that, but they got enough. Here's my issue with this, and this is why I'm hashtag aim higher, is that they have warm bodies. They have Stanley Morgans. They have Traylon Burks, Colton Dow, Is it Tay Harrison? Is that the guy's name?
Tay Martin.
Yeah. They have warm bodies. They need to find baseline productive players.
Well, you know what? I think we're still sleeping on the impact of the Bryce Oliver wide receiver 2 train.
Well, yeah, I'm not totally off that train.
Yeah.
But again, don't just fucking waste my time with Rondell. Like, I'm just tired of being our time wasted with crap wide receivers.
Yeah. I get that.
Shouldn't we all be tired of that? This is like continuing to want an abusive relationship when it gives you a letter. It says, hey, I'm a bad wide receiver. I cannot stay healthy.
If someone tells you,
I love you. Will you date me?
If someone tells you what they are, believe them.
Right.
Yeah.
And Rondell Moore has told us what they are.
I don't know.
And this is what really struggles me with your Hot Read podcast buddy, JT. He loves Rondell Moore.
Yeah.
I don't know why. The guy sucks. I don't know. What is going on? And same with Poo Poo Atwell or Doo Doo Atwell, if you prefer that one.
Doo Doo Atwell. I like that. Doo Doo's funnier.
Yeah. I don't understand why anybody wants that, right? Can't aim higher. Aim higher, fans. You deserve it.
Like Van Jefferson.
No. Aim higher. We deserve it. I had someone in my mission say, well, we need camp bodies. No, we fucking don't. Okay, I can list you 6 or 7 wide receivers, including Mason Kinsey, that are still on this roster that are not named Bryce Oliver, Van Jefferson, and Calvin Ridley. There's 6 wide receivers still on this roster. Those are your fucking camp bodies. You need wide receivers. You want to draft a quarterback, and you don't want him to have anybody to throw to?
So you're not even tempted at all by the idea of what if Rondell Moore is healthy this time?
Because I just don't see that happening. We're talking about a guy that got put on IR and missed games for groin injury. Then he tears his ACL and misses an entire season. Or not, sorry, I'm confusing him with Stephon Diggs. He just fucked up his knee for an entire season and never came back. We should want better. We deserve better. And maybe not everybody in this fan base deserves better. Not everybody in this that covers this team deserves better. Some of them deserve the shit they have gotten over the years from this team.
Mm-hmm.
But I feel like me and you, we deserve better. I feel like Jackson deserves better. Jay Wills deserves better.
Yeah. Ed Henry deserves better.
Ed Henry deserves better. Amber 7 deserves better. Coach Wills deserves better. Zach Garinger deserves better. Curtis, JD3.
Shout out Curtis.
D-Good. We all deserve better than Rondell Moore. And so I encourage Titans fans.
Okay, so
this is like Golden Tate. This is 24-year-old Golden Tate. That's who the Rondell Moore is.
Can I not be okay with adding Rondell Moore and still wanting more? I don't look at it
I just don't think that this, and maybe this is a team issue, an organizational issue. I just don't trust them at this point. I've got battered Titan syndrome. I have been in an abusive relationship for so long. I can't trust them with the wide receiver position.
You know what? They could avoid this whole conversation if they just draft Travis Hunter at 1 overall.
Who's going to throw him the ball? Brandon Allen?
Brandon Allen.
Oh, God. But that's just my thing with, Rondell Moore is we deserve better. Now, if he's your wide receiver 5, sure. But how many times have we said that about other players that have ended up being wide receiver 2 or wide receiver 3?
Yeah.
I just don't trust right now. Once you get into the Titans building, you become wide receiver blind. I don't know what it is about it. And so I don't want any options where Rondell Moore is wide receiver 3. I need so many more options before we get to Rondell Moore.
That's why they're going to draft Brew McCoy because they don't like Isaac Tesla.
We don't need a tight end.
They're gonna I'm blanking on another wide receiver on day 3. I can't remember his name.
Okay, so not Isaac Tesla. They're definitely not drafting Isaac Tesla. They're definitely not interested. Maybe Isaiah Nayor?
Yeah, from Nebraska.
Yeah. Okay, so let me say this. Luther Burden at 35.
Yeah.
There's some real issues going on with Luther Burden behind the scenes, apparently. Now with Titans, just in the scouting community. That's why when you see someone fall, you can assume that there's stuff that they are hearing.
Mm-hmm.
We've seen the Tennessee Titans decision maker, quote unquote, Mike Bergonzi, take chances on someone maybe with a less than ideal past, Rashee Rice, Tyreek Hill.
Yeah.
Could this be a situation where they bring in Luther Burden, who supposedly could be deemed, I guess, a head case?
I'll say
I don't know that he is, but that's kind of what's being described.
I would be pretty pissed if I was a wide receiver in Missouri's offense too.
Yeah, wouldn't you? I kind of side with Luther Burden.
Yeah, so some of the rumblings that I've heard is took plays off, and this is from multiple different people, took plays off and felt like he was going to be a top 10 pick. So didn't play as hard in 2024. I watch the tape and think It's funny because it is in my notes a couple of times. Like he doesn't seem to really be running that hard when the ball's not coming his way. I kind of look at it as this offense stinks. I'm not a priority here. I don't know in today's landscape with the modern player. I don't know if I can fault a guy for wanting to take a few plays off, knowing he's not going to get the ball because of the offense that he's in, if he believes I've got real money on the line here.
I got something for you.
Let's hear it.
We've seen teams kind of latch onto this narrative about certain players, and then everybody's like, oh, this guy's not the talent, and they falls down big board rankings and all this stuff. And then some team swoops in. We saw it with Tavondre Sweat. Now, I mean, obviously that one was a little bit more front page worthy.
Yeah.
But we saw with Tavondre Sweat when we knew that he was a talent that was way higher than what big boards have. I mean, like, what did he end up, like 140 something?
He was, I think it was Brugler that had him
dropped
like one.
Something like that. Dropped him pretty hard.
I want to say it was like,
and he was like 38 before the DUI on Brugler's big board, then dropped down to like the 100s or something.
It's 36 on my big board.
So I wonder if maybe this is a team floating this out there.
Could
then
be.
maybe wants to take him in the second, wants him to drop to the second round to them. Because to me, the tape is the tape.
Yeah.
It's your responsibility. I know that Mike Vrabel didn't think this was Isaiah Wilson. I'm not saying that, listen, he could have fixed Isaiah Wilson. But it's your responsibility as a team. I know people don't think that these young men should have their hands held when they get into the pros. But they kind of need that, like, guidance. If they're like this right now, you need to be able to guide them in the future to help them reach their potential. That's part of your job as a coach.
Yeah,
develop that falls under develop.
Yeah.
You
Agreed.
drafted them, you got to develop them. And to me, and I'm with Eddie, if you take out Hunter, Burden's my wide receiver one.
Mine too.
But so to me, I'm like, man, if Burden is there, I don't care about these off-field issues. It would have to be like he had to murder somebody. He had to beat the elderly, beat a woman, beat a child for me to say you can't take him at 35.
Yeah. And I also think that there's a difference between, which is what comes up in the interview process. It's why these teams kind of suss these guys out a little bit. To me, there's a difference between I'm taking plays off because I'm too good for this shit, and I'm taking plays off because I don't really love football and my heart's not really in this. I think those are two different things. I think one is a pretty damning quality, and I think one you could probably fix with more targets, that sort of thing, like figuring that out. And
I think someone brings up a good point. Coach Will says.
Coach Will's smart man.
I think Cam Ward gets him to lock in. And if Cam Ward is the franchise quarterback, that's also part of what he needs to be doing too. And I do wonder if Cam Ward and Luther Burden is a more dynamic pair than maybe what decision makers may want to give credence to.
Yeah.
Because if you're all in on Cam Ward, I think with Luther Burden and some of the other, your coaches, Tyke Tolbert and all this kind of stuff, you should be able to get Luther Burden to lock in. Like, I find, first off, I don't think, I'd be so shocked if Luther Burden falls out of the first round. I know people love Matthew Golden, but there's room for 3 wide receivers or 4 wide receivers to go in that first round.
Yeah, I agree.
And Luther Burden is better than Tet McMillan, in my mind. I think he's a better prospect.
Yeah, I do too.
So I look at it and I go, man, if Luther Burden's there at 35, I would have a really hard time rationalizing them passing on him unless they're doing – and I don't even know if I'd rationalize it in a trade back scenario, Stoney. Like, I think it'd be Luther Burden or nothing.
So what do they do at edge rusher then?
Who gives a shit? Defense sucks. Make offense great again.
Yeah, that's
Moga.
I'm telling you, man, there's some I will say this. I think there is a better chance that you hit on a pass rusher in the 4th round than hitting on a wide receiver in the 4th round. In this class. In this class.
For sure. And listen, you draft Luther Burden, you draft a wide receiver not named Isaac Tesla in the 6th, and I think you got a pretty good wide receiver room that you could sign your stupid ass Rondell Moores if you want to.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, now we're talking.
Yeah.
Well, they can't sign Rondell Moore now.
Would you have Matthew Golden over Tet?
Yeah. Yeah. I I caught some flack for this, but I've got Tet as wide receiver 5. I've got him behind Egbuka too.
The Reddit's going to tear you alive.
I know, man, but I like watch something besides the New Mexico game.
Yeah.
Watch him go up against Arizona State.
When half your touchdowns come in week 1.
Yeah.
Or was that week 0 even? Is that considered week 0?
It might
maybe?
have been.
But like
know.
when half your touchdowns come in the first week of football, yeah, I'm good.
Yeah, and that game.
And I understand, like, he did not have nearly the offensive deficit that I feel like Luther Burden had. I don't know what they did.
Yeah.
Like, they were like, oh, last year they were this great offense. They had these 2 dynamic wide receivers that everybody was going to be talking about. And everybody's like, well, Luther Burden's going to go in the first round. But then this next guy behind him is going to be even better.
Mm-hmm.
And then they sucked.
Yeah.
And they didn't. Offense sucked.
I think I told you that offense kind of feels designed to just have its receivers run down the field to try and pull defenders out of the box so that they can run more zone runs efficiently. Like, it feels like a strategic thing. We're not actually going to pass you the ball. Just run down there, and maybe you take a linebacker or a safety with you, and it lightens the box so that we have fewer people to run through. It's kind of how I felt.
I agree with Zeding.
If
we score 40 but give up 50, it's a successful season.
Yeah, it's
I'm with
fun
you.
football.
Like,
yeah.
fuck it. I mean, like, I don't care about defense right now.
Yeah, yeah.
If you're drafting Cam Ward, you need to build the best offense around Cam Ward possible, and that may involve taking Luther Burden at 35.
I'm kind of.
And I think you're crazy if you don't do it.
Maybe getting like Femi Oladejo out of UCLA. Day 3. I still like Jaw Joyner out of Minnesota. Nobody's really talking about
Tyler
him.
Barron, if you can get him. I don't know where his draft stock is at Miami Edge.
Yeah.
As long as you do not draft Isaac Tesla if you're the Tennessee Titans.
Yeah, don't do that.
Don't do that.
I'll be so pissed.
Yeah.
I don't know what I'll do.
Speaking of the draft, day 3, we're working out stuff, but we will be going live all day, day 3.
Our megacast, our day 3 megacast.
We go all the way through all the Titans picks. Luckily, we won't have to do the 7th round this year, so we'll actually get out earlier.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
well,
because
last year we decided, hey, let's just keep it going.
Well, they had a pick, like in the middle of the 7th round or late 7th round, so we might as well just finish it.
Yeah.
Now we don't have to.
Yeah.
Unless they trade back, which please do not trade back and get a 7th.
I'm going to get so fucking drunk after the draft is over with.
Yeah. Well, we always do.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll host a Zach Stoney cookout at my house afterwards.
Hey, there we go. I'll be there.
There we go.
You have somewhere that I can pass out? I can sleep?
I got 2 bedrooms.
Well, I didn't want to, just assume.
Yeah, well, the wife's gone. You can always sleep in the bed with me and the pups.
Yeah, there we go. Now we're talking.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a bunch of sweaty, hot men and 2 dogs.
Yeah. Easton and JT?
Yeah, we'll talk about it.
Okay. There room for all 4 of us in the bed?
Not in my bed, but then we have 3 beds.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, so we can work it out.
I'll think about it then.
Do you think No, we're going to save for another episode. Because we got a lot of draft talk to go.
Yeah, we do.
It's only like, 4 or 5 weeks till the draft?
Yeah.
I got to start working on the stackingtheinbox.com
we're
draft
fucked.
guide.
We're so fucked on
Are
that.
we?
I'm like, we're not getting to 275 this year.
Where do you think we're going to get? We got to 300 last year, didn't we?
Yeah, we did get to 300. I think I'm shooting for 150.
Cole brings up a good 150. Okay, well that actually eases the load on me.
I should be at 100 by the end of next week.
Cole asked a great question that we've already talked about in the chat. Who will be the Malik Washington of this live stream?
Oh, we have talked about that.
It's been floated out that's Jalen Royals.
No, Jalen Lane.
Oh, Jalen Lane. Sorry,
Yeah.
Jalen Lane.
A lot of Jalen's in this
But
class.
I don't think Jalen Lane's going to last that long. But that makes him part of the Malik Washington because we said that Malik Washington wouldn't last that long, and he did.
Yeah, that's true.
So there you go.
Yeah.
Okay, that'll do for us. Jackson, Jay Wills. How would you grade the show?
B+ Yapfest boys. Love the new nickname though. A+ nickname.
A+ nickname,
There we go.
B+ Yapfest, which is down from last week's show.
Well, last week's show was fire.
It was fire. I don't even remember much of last week's show. I just don't have room in my head for the show after we turn off the microphones.
Yeah.
All right, that'll do it for us. This has been Football and Other F Words. Remember, we'll be live in conjunction before Greg Cassell and the live install with Buck Rising over at the
Analog
at the Hutton Hotel.
Is that going to be like announced, or is that just we're just telling the people watching?
Well, we're
F
telling the
words?
people. I don't know if they're actually going to get in the booth and record a new ad read for us to be
Football
added
and
onto.
other F words.
Yeah. Football and other F words.
You should be doing those.
That should be, yes,
Yeah.
that's like a old drunken sailor that's been smoking for 30 years.
Yeah.
And then we'll have the day 3 all-day live show.
Which I don't know.
11 a.m. to roughly 4 p.m., I would say, 5 p.m.
I don't know. Can we say? I don't know if we can say for sure that Easton and JT will be joining us yet.
Well, we know JT will.
JT will be there.
Yeah. Easton, he's kind of big time in us,
Got a job now.
work at A to Z.
A to Z Sports. Yeah. Yeah. What are they doing for day 3, Easton?
Well, he doesn't even know yet, and he's in charge of like his own life, I guess, over there or something, his business life.
Come talk with the dogs.
Yeah.
The dogs. Dogs going to be barking on
And it's
going to
be in this room, by the way.
Is it really?
Yeah, so they're going to be on the casting couch.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
It's
But we'll
really
have commercial breaks this time.
good spot to sit for a few hours.
So let me say this. Can I say this? I don't know. You may have to edit this out. I don't know.
We're
so here's what
live.
I'm going to say. We're live. We're looking for a sponsor for the show.
Okay.
And so your little logo will be down at for this particular draft show.
Mhm.
Your little logo will be down in the corner throughout the whole live show or somewhere. We'll have a graphic for it during the live show. And then when we go to break, we're going to have like a little, coming back soon or whatever, and we'll put your logo on that. That's like 5 to 6 hours of advertising time.
I will say your company name at the end of every sentence I speak.
No, don't promise that.
I'm sorry. I get carried away. I get carried away. My bad.
No. We under promise, over deliver.
Yeah, you're right. My bad.
Easton says he's doing everything in my power, in quotation marks, to be there. He didn't put the quotation marks by it in.
Could we just like kidnap him and just drag him out of his home?
No, then we have to go to Brentwood to do that.
Yeah.
And then we got the
His
shitting your pants thing that we got to worry about in the car and stuff like on the way back.
Palatial estate.
Yeah.
His castle.
Yeah, his castle.
Yeah.
Remember last year, the fridge got delivered during the show,
Yeah.
and they couldn't get the fridge in during the show.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
There you go. All right, that'll do for us. Football and other F words. Stoney Keeley at Stoney Keeley, Hot Read Podcast, StackingTheInbox.com, SoberRoseNetwork.com, and of course, Football and Other F words, and the Nashville Movie Dispatch, also a Substack. We're off the next 2 days here at Cover 2, but normally Monday through Friday, 1 to 3 p.m. with Blaine Bishop, 5-time Hall of Famer Blaine
Dude,
Bishop.
that was so cool to watch that live.
I need to get him to do the 5-time like Booker T
thing. Yeah.
I have to send him that and tell him he has to start doing it. But not only is he a 5-time Hall of Famer, but he's in a Hall of Famer in 3 different states.
Man.
Indiana, Tennessee, Alabama. How cool is that?
What a legacy.
What a legacy.
What a legacy.
And you know what he said?
What?
None of this was ever my goal. He said, I just wanted to play football, and everything else will take care of itself.
Football guy.
Football
Through
guy.
and through.
No doubt. This has been Football and Other F words, and you have just been effed.